everything that you see is something I invent. And it's only a percent. I'm gonna take shots. If I miss all, forget it. I'll take a fat loss just to learn all that's in it. I'm taking snapshots, learning.
Hello and welcome to the Smite Draft League. Thank you so much for joining us on your Sunday night. Boy, do we have a game to show you. It's Sugar Babies. It's Harbingers. Bans are already done. We have the picks to talk about. Let's talk about it really quick before we get into the game.
Yeah, I think the one thing to note right off the bat is obviously Gabba instead of PF Sean over there in mid lane on the Yu Huang that she's really comfortable on, and getting AK onto the Dodgy as well. Those are some pretty big comfort picks that they let slide Harbinger's way.
I agree. The Daji in particular sticks out as something we've seen Akamaru go off with consistently, and I'm kind of frightened that it got into his hands. I mean, it's a great team comp going the other way for Sugar Babies, but that Daji could be a big problem for them.
Yeah, it definitely could, but I think they drafted well on the other side. Susano is a pick we have seen pop off in this league time and time again. Definitely one of the junglers going to be able to keep them in check, and getting Dracul onto the Ganesh. I know that's a personal favorite pick of his, so having some comfort in the support role should be really, really good for the Sugar Babies.
If I had to point out one pick that I'm not entirely sold on, it would probably be the Chiron. I feel like Chiron has an awkward matchup into the Rama, but ZTan and Nico are both so talented. It's impossible to even imagine that would matter in this game.
Yeah, easily two of the top ADCs in the league, so I think that lane is kind of gonna go whoever gets the first blood. They're both good enough where they're gonna be able to roll it into more farm, more XP, maybe not a ton more kills, but the lane priority should definitely shift over to whoever gets that first lead, and for that reason, I'd expect both Soulzc and AK to be over there really early in this game. Or MentalDepressed, sorry, not the set.
Yeah, and just to go alongside the picks in these two crazy team comps is the fact that both of these teams, not only are they both undefeated right now, they're battling for the number seed as we're getting close to the playoffs. So this is probably the most important game that we've seen from the challengers so far this season.
Yeah, definitely up to this point. And the one thing, I don't know how we haven't talked about it yet, that's a Set mid from Soulzc. I absolutely love that pick. I think Set is an extremely undervalued god, so being able to get that into the mid lane, if he can transition that laning phase against Yu Huang, who admittedly is going to be a really tough opponent, late game, that Sugar Babies might be absolutely able to steamroll that one.
I don't know about you, but you and I have talked long enough already because I'm so excited for this juggernaut matchup. So we'll be right back and we'll see you in game number 1 between Sugar Babies and Harbingers. It's Sunday night. It's Smite Draft League. It's Sugar Babies. It's Harbingers. They're juggernauts. I'm Anthony Malum. He's KingFsher. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it indeed, and it's going to be off to a really spicy start, and I want to see what that set mid is able to accomplish early on. Building the Warrior's Axe, which I really like that pick for a starter item. It's going to give him a lot more boxing potential into that Yu Huang than something like the Bluestone Wood, just going to stay a lot more topped up on HP. That's always important in mid. I don't imagine he's going to have very many lifesteal items.
Yeah, and set mid was something we actually saw in SPL today, so I wonder if there's any inspiration there, but it certainly it showed up and put in some work there. Curious if we're going to see the same thing.
Yeah, you would think maybe there's a little bit of inspiration, but I mean, it's been done way before the SPL. It'll be done way after. The set as a backliner is a pick I think is always really good. Just obviously struggles in that laning phase, but I think Soulzc is mechanically good enough to make it work. So if I'm on the side of Harbingers, I want that Dodgy to gank early and often on that set. He doesn't have any CC immunity, so the more you burn his beads, the tougher it's going to be for him to stay aggressive in that lane.
On the topic of ganks, there's one in mid lane. MentalDepressed is on Gabba, and early. Big damage coming out. Enough for the first blood for Sugar Babies. Let's get going early today.
Yep, and there's the set aggression right out of mid, and good gank from MentalDepressed, finding that killing blow. So now Gabba sent back to the grave really early. Didn't use the beads either. I don't think got CC'd out too heavy, but definitely some slows from both those gods. Maybe contributing, but all the same, does go down. But doesn't lose too much XP for it. Wave was already gone, is now Dracul losing some health on the poke.
Big damage, masterful shot. Flippin' Ninjas gets the kill on Dracul. Make it 1-for-1 Harbinger Sugar Babies early on.
Yeah, poor Dracul there, getting caught out in the wave, and the Heavenly Wings not doing enough to get him away from that one. It goes 1-1, but first blood on the Sugar Babies, that is going to help that mid 3v3, or I guess it's kind of a mid 2v1 right now. So you see MentalDepressed rotating back. And I think a trend we've been seeing a lot of lately, junglers are putting a lot more emphasis on a solo lane, but the emphasis is on Nico right now, able to dash away though.
Has to play it safe. The emphasis has been on solo, and for both of these teams, the emphasis has been on teamwork. These are two teams that have been pretty much two of the fewer transactional teams. These squads have been, with some slight exceptions here and there, together from the beginning. There's been strong synchronicity. We know Harbingers really rallies behind their captain, ZTan. On all these things, they mean a lot in competitive games like this, and they can go a very long way.
Yeah, they definitely can, and it's always weird kind of having your captain, and maybe shot caller, I don't know for sure, but for both these teams, the captains are the ADCs, and they kind of look at the game a bit differently. I would assume they're not the flashy 1v1 type role, but really focused on objective, and I think for that reason, I'd expect their objective play to be a lot better than most other teams. But I think the later we get into this game, we're going to really see the stylistic differences of these two players.
Yeah, and with Sugar Babies, it's a very different feel than Harbingers. They're so good at their own strengths. Nice double stun from the Monolith there for Flippin' Ninjas. Things could get hairy quick for Sugar Babies. Got to play this safe, but will get out of the chalice there. Everybody's so evenly matched in different ways. And one I'm really interested to see, ZTan and Nico, we talked about it in the picks, two of the best ADCs, if not the two best ADCs in the Challenger division. You add on to that this unique matchup between a Chiron and a Rama, and I'm curious to see who gets the upper hand.
Yeah, and I definitely expect that lead to go over to ZTan at first. Oh, as here comes a big gank from the Dodgy.
Akamaru's here, blinking, doing good damage to Dracul, but underneath the tower, taking a lot of damage, gonna die to NykoMaster, make it 2-2 early. Good response to the gank. They do pick up the support play by Dracul, but was it fully worth it there? Yeah,
I think AK probably expecting Flippin' Ninjas to be in that tower a little bit before he was. As a result, gonna fall. And good job from Nico using the slow arrows. He might have crippled him too, I did not see. But good job by the Rama ensuring that kill. I think back to their earlier point, Chiron just clears wave so much better than Rama can that I would expect ZTan to get this early lead. But Nico's not gonna die or get out of position, so it's gonna be really hard to get a lead on this Rama, as it's gonna be MentalDepressed stripping away the bat camps.
Yeah, really good call there. The map awareness and the confidence of knowing that the enemy jungler just died in duo, so let me go take their camps. Sometimes that's the biggest problem teams have. If you know you have the jungle advantage, that's one thing. Having the confidence to invade the jungle is a completely different thing.
Yeah, and especially this early in the game where the kill timers are really short, like, I mean, 10 seconds at the absolute maximum. You know the solo laner has a little bit of pressure over your Jing so questionable that he would invade, but really good call, gets those camps off, now does have a full level over that Daji, and a first item crusher. That's not one I'm used to see being built first, but I like the aggression that it offers.
Yeah, it could matter a lot depending on the different combinations of abilities with how MentalDepressed may be playing the Sasano, getting that little bit of extra damage and that little bit of extra poke. I mean, we saw it with Gabba. Obviously, Crusher wasn't online yet, but just how that fight played out, if that starts happening early on here, that Crusher could get a lot of value.
It definitely could, and it's crazy that we haven't talked about the builds more than we already have. MentalDepressed looking to get aggressive at a serious health disadvantage, though. He's going to try it.
Playing it safe by Akamaru. Akamaru kind of waiting to see what MentalDepressed is going to do. Get some good damage in return. Health bars even. They're full committing now. Full sending. Powwow up. Gets the hit, but Purification Beads come out. Flippin' Ninja's on the chase now. Standing Stones weren't good. Gear Chief going to see if he can clean it up. But MentalDepressed is just out of range and has too much movement on that Sasano.
Yeah, good call there for MentalDepressed, falling back at the time that he did. I think going back to my earlier point about builds, it's something we haven't seen in a while. Transcendence from both of the Hunters. You've really seen Devo Gauntlet kind of take the meta by storm, especially in that crit build path. That tells me that this Rama isn't looking to build into crit. We know Chiron certainly isn't. And above that, both solo laners building full damage at first. Not another thing we're used to seeing, especially out of a Jing Tian.
Yeah, this whole thing is interesting, but these teams are so confident in their strategies and so secure in their game planning that honestly they could almost build anything minus a few exceptions, and I probably go along with it.
Yeah, I think, to be fair, it's a lot more about gameplay than build paths.
Uh-oh.
Now Nico needs to be
Gonna
careful.
interrupt you. Akamaru is the one who's to blame. Gets a gank on NykoMaster. Gonna go over to the ultimate to buy some time, but the bleed was too much. Gonna fall. Nobody even had time to rotate there. Tough break for NykoMaster.
And this might be a hot take. I think Rama should be damage immune in his ultimate. I've played Rama a lot, and so many times already died because of it. Gabba's gonna die too. Wow.
Look at the damage from mid lane set. Chasing all the way under tower will be enough, though. It is not enough. Gabba gets away. MentalDepressed does fall to Akamaru. So ultimately, Harbingers gets it better of this exchange. Big credit to Gabba there for being able to survive. That really set up everything else, not having to require those two other members to work all the way back to her.
Yeah, I really thought Soulzc was going to get that kill. Kingslayer was active, had the teleport, had beads, had every chance to dive under that tower, but I guess not wanting to give up a death in the mid lane. Gabba should have to back pretty soon with no lifesteal online yet, no healing potions either. Gonna be slow road back for that Yu Huang, as now Gear Chief is able to get off a blue invade. We've seen a ton of blue invades lately. It seems like the solo laner getting more aggressive early has had such a bigger impact on the late game team fights that you really can't ignore it.
Yeah, 100%. And that is something that you have to pay attention to every character when you pick, not just the early, not just the mid, the late game. All of that different type of communication, the thought process, it all goes into team comps. With that being said, both of these teams, they're so set up for different scenarios. It's rare you see that. A lot of times it's this team is good early, this team is good late, this is a gank from Akamaru, this is a powwow, is it a kill? NykoMaster goes up into ultimate, buying time for MentalDepressed and Dracul to get there. They're on the way. Good damage on ZTan could matter here in the future. Goes up into ZTantalus, though, to buy some time, stay alive, and stay healthy. Dracul now falling low. Re-engage from Akamaru, pushing them underneath the tower. MentalDepressed is here, and Soulzc is on the way. Big damage from the Sasano. Typhoon comes out, knocks off Akamaru, and Soulzc is here to clean it up. ZTan trying to stay alive. He won't. Make it a double kill for Soulzc. Trying to get even more than that onto flippin' ninjas. Gabba's here, though, and everybody's low. Look for some cleanup from the Yu Huang. Soulzc gets a triple kill on the set. Mid team comp speed. Damned, can he get more? Big play from Gabba, though. Good response damage is enough to calm down the set.
Yeah, and calm down the set has to be the game plan there for Harbingers. Just allow Soulzc to walk into the backline and get a triple kill. That is not what you want to do against that aggressive of a pick. And really good call there from Sugar Babies. The rotation was on point. Good job on Nico buying the time and baiting them in. So all around, really good fight for Sugar Babies. On the flip side, though, I don't think that's anything to be worried about from Harbingers. They just picked a bad fight. It happens to every team.
Yeah, the most dangerous thing that will come from that is the set now having 3 kills. We're used to seeing Soulzc play burst characters, but normally it's the form of, a Scylla or an Agni. But seeing that set and now getting it ahead, the danger from that mid lane is astronomical, and it has to be respected. Soulzc does slightly miss his ability there, gets under the tower and takes a shot, which will probably keep Gabba safe for now.
Yeah, it definitely should. I don't think Gabba has to be too worried, especially without that Kingslayer ultimate on Soulzc. We've seen him go in only 2 times, not counting that, 30-second kill. But both those times he's popped Kingslayer really early. He uses it as an engage tool, which is exactly what you want to do with Set. But when it's not up, doesn't have to be as worried as now they find aggression onto him. Kingslayer's up, Kingslayer used.
Big damage on Soulzc, but being very patient. How much damage will come out? Now Akamaru's here too, and Flippin' Ninjas has his 3rd kill on the Terra. In response, though, Pyromancer being so sneakily done, down to a quarter health, and it's gonna fall. Harbingers gets the steal! Gear Chief dashed in at the perfect time and steals the Pyromancer right away from Sugar Babies.
And that is so unfortunate for the Hades that he didn't have the ultimate. He could have secured at least the 2 kills on a MentalDepressed and Smexeh, or at least forced out some beads from the Susano. Nevertheless, though, getting the Pyro really good, and they swing it onto the Gold Fury too. A 3,000 gold lead early on feels really, really good. And I like that play from Soulzc, not panic using the beads or the ultimate in that kill there. Probably should have gone back towards the tower instead of the jungle, but I don't think 1 death on 3 kills is going to matter too much in the long run.
Yeah, I agree. And something we saw there was so much confidence from Gear Chief, and we've seen that all season, whether Gear Chief is playing behind, ahead, in disastrous moments or great moments, Gear Chief will always try to make the play, and sometimes just attempting to make those plays is where they come from. You miss every shot you don't take.
Exactly. Just got to be careful about taking too many shots. Don't want to get cut out of position or maybe going for any bad things. And that's, I think, the one thing we see that holds a lot of aggressive teams back normally. I think we saw it the other week where Optic and Virtually got cut out a few too many times and it hurt them in one of their games. And I think being able to limit that damage and play smart in balance with that aggression, definitely the way to go. So I like seeing Gear Chief not take too many aggressive battles. Is now in trouble under the enemy blue buff. Gets away though, scot-free.
There was the aggressive battle you were talking about, but being a level 13 Hades is nothing to mess around with without a game plan, so they do walk away. A big lead there for Gear Chief against the Jingtian. Will there be a fight over here by purple, though? Everybody's starting to collapse on this. We have another 3v3 in the jungle. MentalDepressed lagging a bit behind. Powwow up. Gets 2, make it 3. How many get pulled in? It's Dracul. Rama goes into ultimate. NykoMaster picks up Akamaru with some nice snipes. Now it's 4 collapsing on Flippin' Ninjas. Typhoon just to make sure they get him. Gabba's here, though, probably to get ZTan out, and it will work. Gabba also has that ultimate, so no further commit from Sugar Babies.
Yeah, and definitely smart of them to pull out instead of trying to chase that down. I mean, it's a 4-on-2, but you're going up against 2 backliners, and 2 of your players are sub 300 HP. Definitely the smart move, and unfortunately that Gold Fury being down means they aren't going to be able to capitalize a whole lot off of it. Rama did get a side camp, though, so pretty good.
Every little thing does matter. And speaking of every little thing matters, Gabba just hit level 12 on Yu Huang, and Set just now hit it on Set. And Soulzc has 3 kills to Gabba's no kills. So Gabba doing a great job keeping up in farm there in mid lane.
Yeah, and doing it really smartly too. We've seen Soulzc kind of spreading himself around the map so far, and Gabba less so, which I think is definitely the right move, making up that kind of XP chasm there was because of the kills. No fault of the Yu Huang, but now pulling even. Definitely a good thing if you're a Harbingers fan. I think the main worry with Set is that he's going to snowball out of control, so limiting that, definitely the right play, as now Gear Chief, all the way over here on left. That should open the door for Jingtian to get some farm. Finally, TPing in, though, it's going to be a big fight in the middle lane. And if I'm going to be honest, don't really love this. I don't see any point to a big team fight here for either team.
Looks like they might feel the same way, considering breaking it off, seeing if anybody overcommits. But yeah, there's not a lot of value to this fight. Nothing really on the map worth taking at the moment. You could pressure the tier 1. Maybe just go say hello to Fire Giant. Don't want to full commit. Full committing, though, is MentalDepressed on his ZTan. Could not get the steal of the purple buff, nor the kill, thanks to Giddy Up. ZTan safe for now. Now we've got Dancing in the Jungle by the Gold Fury that is currently not there, but both these teams just playing it safe and making sure their carries are safe as can be.
Yeah, and there's about a minute until the Gold Fury and the Pyromancer spawn, and given the aggression we just saw in the mid lane out of both teams, I would expect one of these big objectives kind of start catapulting this team fight into fruition. We almost saw it there. He certainly will soon. And ZTantalus, I think, getting really lucky after he dashed out and then went right back in for the purple buff. I thought for sure MentalDepressed was going to stay there and kill the Chiron for it, but luckily for him, the Susano did pull out of that one, as now MentalDepressed wants aggression. Gabba finding a ton of return damage.
That was a lot of return damage. It was enough to keep Gabba safe. Dracul was hanging out, but no commitment as Akamaru's right there. Great job by Gabba once again, making the little things count in the mid lane. Tried to get some aggression onto Soulzc and Dracul, but the silence from Dracul was enough to calm things down. And we're back to, for the most part, relaxing. Gear Chief, though, is invading the red buff. The things you can do as a solo laner once you get ahead are just insane. Taking a lot of damage, though, as Gear Chief has to play this safe. Pillar of Agony comes out, doing good damage to Dracul. Ninjas is here, Gabba's here, Gear Chief kills Dracul, Akamaru kills Soulzc. I did not expect that fight to go Harbinger's way, but it did.
Yeah, the ult economy for Harbinger's a little bit more impactful than Ganeshal. If it was on top of the Hades, would have helped a lot, but kind of just locked him in. Not that effective in the long run, as we'll try to pick up the Primal Fury. We're going to see a Susano steal. No, we're not.
Secured by Harbingers. NykoMaster does get the kill on the Gear Chief, though. Flippin' Ninja's deep in there, very low, quickly, but now Smexeh is the one who's low. Powwow up. No lands yet, gets it on Nico, but he still has ultimate, looking for some good damage on Gabba, but she uses her escape perfectly. Safe, safe, safe. Everybody's safe, including the Gold Fury. Great play by Harbingers again, making the macro and the micro play matter oh so much.
Yeah, and I do like them not W-keying there. I thought they were gonna once we saw the Jingtian's health bar drop really low. To be fair, maybe they would have won that fight, but with the, spawn timers coming off a cooldown, definitely would have been pushed up way too far, so I like that, just stopping after the Gold Fury, and they do have a pretty sizable gold lead now. 5,000, and Sugar Babies maybe look to swing this Pyromancer. Harbingers can definitely step up and contest here with that Hades ult. Getting aggressive on the back, though. Doesn't want to fight yet, and I like that from Gear Chief. I think we see a lot of Hades show way too much over-aggression, so keeping it in check, I think definitely a smart play to not lose that lead that he's built up.
Pyromancer getting pulled by Harbingers. Sugar Babies just now sniffing this out by Soulzc, and it's too late. Pyromancer goes the way of Harbingers. The impressive macro play continues from Harbingers. These shot calls have been so on point. They lose a tier 1 in response, but this map control and this macro play, all in favor of Harbingers.
Yeah, you're definitely not going to feel bad about losing a tier 1 tower at almost 20 minutes. Surprised it didn't go down already. ZTantalus has been out of lane a lot, but to be fair, so is Nico. So finally now seeing the first bits of aggression onto the tower. And I think Fire Giant, it's something we talk about a lot as being a really, really good tool to help kind of get your pushes going, give you a little bit of confidence going into the next fights. It's almost 20 minutes in. Do you think we're going to see a Fire Giant around 20 minutes, or are they going to let it go and choose to group up and look for a team fight first before trying to get the first big objective of the game?
I think with what we've seen so far, I feel pretty confident saying that Harbingers is going to go off the pace of the game. If Sugar Babies loses 2, maybe 3 members in any type of fight from all this aggression from Harbingers, then they'll probably turn tail and go and do the fire. On the other hand, if no commitment happens, they might look to bait it out and see what they can get from it while they control this side of the map.
I was going to say, I would really like to see Harbingers start this. I think they have a lot of burst in their team comp with the Dodgy and the Chiron. If ZTan is able to rotate over, and especially looking at the ults of Sugar Babies, we saw them use them a few times around the Gold Fury, and we're a little late on the Pyro, but if you can get them to commit the things like the Dharmic Pillar, Susano's Tornado, onto the Fire Giant instead of your team, that team fight following it gets so much easier for Harbingers to turn around. I think it'd be the right call, but it's a really tough one to make. I don't blame him for showing a little bit of indecision. I think starting to group up on right, though, is a correct call with Rama being over there in left lane.
Yeah, we have noticed for a little bit that Nico's kind of had some free roam in that duo. Committing to other things has been ZTan. It's working out so far, but we've seen time and time again when an ADC can just kind of relax and free farm at will, come late game, once everybody's grouped up, they can be so dangerous.
Yeah, and now all the Sugar Babies moving left. If I'm Harbingers, this is the chance. I would be running straight to the Fire Giant. The Rama isn't there. They can see him on that left tower. That should be all they need to pull the trigger on it. And indeed, we are going to see them start breaking over there now. Rama is not going to get there in time. They're going to get that tier 2, but I don't know if they're even going to step up to contest. Looks like Dharmic Pillar is going to be the only thing in the area. I don't know if Susanoo will get there in time.
Yeah, they did catch Sugar Babies heading the other way. Dracul showing up, though. Quarter health. Will have pillars for it. It comes down. Sugar Babies gets the steal. Akamaru gets Mental Depressed. Soulzc gets ZTan. And Nico's getting a Phoenix. Can't be stopped there. Powwow brings in Smexeh. Soulzc has a double kill on a Gabba. Gear Chief gets a return on the Soulzc. Akamaru fighting for his life. Takes Smexeh with him to the grave. Everybody just got almost everything they wanted. These two teams are so evenly matched.
Yeah, that went horribly for Harbingers. I don't think it was bad play calling. I would have done the same thing, but maybe that does mean it's bad play calling. But still, I think just really unfortunate there. They weren't able to time their take with the Ganesh Dharmic Pillars. I think got it a little bit quicker than they expected. But losing the teamfight after is the thing that really hurts. I thought with the Rama being on the left side, there wouldn't be as much damage to kind of get those backliners down. But all of them fall, including the jungler. Not a great fight as now Sugar Babies pull that 5,000 gold lead back to within 2k. Great fight for the Chaos team.
Yeah, fantastic fight for the Chaos team, the former Sugar Babies. Gear Chief running into NykoMaster, who is currently doing some insane damage. Will walk the other way, but you know, we see it time and time again when ADCs are split pushing. Sometimes they're afraid to full commit to a Phoenix. Once their teams start contesting Fire Giant, they get a little panicky and start to head over because they don't want to get pinged or flamed for hanging out there. But Nico committing to that Phoenix and Sugar Babies being able to handle the 4v5 there turned into such a great overall victory.
Yeah, definitely do like him committing to that, and I don't think there's any reason why he shouldn't. Given his build, he has the best 1v1 potential on the map. Is Gabba in trouble under tower? Gabba dead under tower.
That was a quick death. Not even much to talk about. Those pillars are so strong. Soulzc, though, had to play it safe. Took a lot of damage. And very quickly, MentalDepressed thought he might be able to make a play on ZTan there. Cannot. Dracul, though, might be caught out by Akamaru. And ZTan he is. ZTan gets the kill. Gear Chief runs into MentalDepressed. And Nico Akamaru here try to keep him safe. Rama up to the ultimate. First shot misses. Second and third are good with the help of Smexeh for the kill onto Gear Chief. Now 4 members grouped up for Sugar Babies. Terra ultimate comes out. Akamaru goes in onto Nico, doing good damage. Might die for it, though. Not so far. Powwow up. Soul solo. Double kill for Akamaru. Gonna make it a triple kill onto Smexeh. And Akamaru just took the pace back the way of Harbingers.
Yeah, and who needs a Fire Giant fight when you get a massive one like that? Great play from the Dodgy to really swing the momentum of this game.
And with that, we have a pause coming out. So we'll be right back. We won't make you watch the pause. Never do. See you soon. Boo! Surprise! It was super fast of a pause there. We're already back here at the Smite Draft League, and the Tier 1 tower is going to fall in left lane. Take us through that fight we just saw, Fish.
I mean, a really good job from Harbingers knowing where Sugar Babies were going to be and able to catch them out. And all at the same time, too, those death timers, I think a lot of fights we can see them staggered if they go on too long, if you let members escape. So being able to take down all 3 at the same time, it's going to make this fight a lot easier. MentalDepressed going to make it harder, though, coming in from behind.
Look at the damage that was just done to Akamaru, Flippin, and ZTan. They got to be so safe from that damage that MentalDepressed just dealt out. Okay, never mind. Goodbye, MentalDepressed. We'll see you in a bit. He just got deleted there. Tier 2 tower is going to not be far behind him. Wow.
Yeah, he can dish the damage, but apparently can't take it. That was a quick death for this Susano under that tier 2. I like the aggression and trying to defend it, but with only Dracul up there at the tower with you, maybe not the best time. Still though, the kill cooldown is really short. Fire Giant's worn off and coming up in about a minute or so. I don't hate that death there. You don't give a ton of XP to the enemy team. A lot bigger upside than there is downside there for sure.
A slight dancer on the Gold Fury, but it looks like Harbingers is going to back and reset. Sugar Babies might look to sneak it out with everybody gone. Probably going to get away with it too.
Yeah, they should be. And if I'm Harbingers, I don't look to contest this too hard. Maybe an ult from Gabba, but yeah, it's going down. They need to get out of there. Dragon's coming out though. Lucky for them, Sugar Baby's going to disengage. Probably could have taken that fight, but I think smart of both teams to back off with the Fire Giant being up soon.
Some good damage came out, but nothing quite more than that. Sugar Babies does secure the Gold Fury. Harbingers, though, with a slight victory, their Phoenix respond. It is plenty safe. They're clearing out the fire minions, so they get to relax a little bit from that left lane currently.
Yeah, now if I'm Sugar Babies, the last Fire Giant fight, I think, admittedly, got a little lucky with the steal, but a good team fight after. If you see the Hades over there and left, it should be a go button, as it is going to be on to flipping ninjas. Now Akamaru in trouble.
Falling fast, but still just barely below half health. Powwow goes up. Gonna find MentalDepressed and pull him in with Dracul. ZTan picks up MentalDepressed. Now on a killing spree. Akamaru is gonna get away from this with health. Gonna hang out of the monolith to heal up while Gear Chief dives into Smexeh, Nyko, and Dracul doing numbers. Nyko getting some return numbers, but just not quite enough. Akamaru gets on a rampage, and they're gonna chase everybody down and see how far they can go. Never mind. They're going to get the more important objective. They're going to get a free Fire Giant.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely the smart move here. The health bars are a little bit low to be running it down that aggressive against a Set who still has his ultimate up. Blink and beads. Speaking of, Soulzc wants to get aggro here. It's a tough play. I would just back off if I was
getting chunked by Gear Chief. Can't fully commit. Smexeh is here, though. Harbingers does secure it. Dangerous as it was. Smexeh, though, going to get cleaned up most likely, as is Soulzc. Gear Chief gets the kill onto him, turns around, finds Smexeh. Whirlwind comes out to get ZTan away, but it's only prolonging the inevitable. Smexeh does fall to Gabba, and all of a sudden this game is now Harbinger's way.
Yeah, and I'm not sure I like Sugar Baby stepping up to defend that one. I mean, if you do steal the Fire Giant away, to be fair, it's really good, but at the same time, I don't think they needed the Fire Giant to push down these towers. They have 5 alive, and it was only 2 up for the Chaos side team, so it's going to happen anyway. Now those kill cooldowns makes it 5v2 on the Phoenix, as Susano trying to clear camps. Should be back in time to defend, though, so not too much harm done, as there goes Gear Chief.
Akamaru goes in on NykoMaster in the back. He has to ult in response. Flippin' Ninjas tanking the Phoenix, but nobody's hitting the Phoenix aside from ZTan. Akamaru has to go into the powwow. Stay alive. Pillar of Agony helps to pick up NykoMaster. Flippin' fell low to the Phoenix. Akamaru's low. Gear Chief's blowing up. MentalDepressed. ZTan cleans up Dracul. It's a deicide for Harbingers. How many times have I said that this season? The Titan Siege begins. It's Soulzc versus the world. What can he claim alongside it? Smexeh goes in, Titan half health. Flippin' Ninjas low, Akamaru low. Akamaru cleans up Soulzc. Whirlwind comes out, gets Akamaru, but Gabba makes it another deicide. This one secures the victory for Harbingers. They take game 1.
And a clean ending from the Order side team. They did it exactly right at Fire, running it down behind, and a good, albeit a little bit slow, Phoenix and Titan burn. They did not mess anything up. A really nice end for them after a much more back and forth game than I thought we were going to have.
That was, yeah. You know, these two teams have been so great all year, and it showed there because in the beginning, it felt like maybe Soulzc was going to run this game. Halfway through, we started to see some things go way of Harbingers. We saw some nice steals from Sugar Babies, but ultimately, Akamaru and the Daji was just enough to center this team, combined with the damage from Gear Chief, which was astronomical, and that's before we even can mention the damage from the Chiron. Everything was clicking for Harbingers.
Yeah, it really was. And on the flip side, you gotta feel a little bad for Sugar Babies for the way that one went. Admittedly, I don't think they played bad at all. They had a really strong early game, mid-game as well, but in the end game, it just started falling a little bit away from them. Not too much in fault to the play call, I think. Besides that last Fire Giant, did everything very cleanly. So going into game 2, I think there's a reasonable chance to see them come back, make it a really competitive set.
And we'll see in game number 2. We'll be right back in the Smite Draft League with the picks and bans for game number 2. After an exciting end to game number 1, these juggernauts are back. We're in picks and bans for game number 2. I am still Anthony Malum. He's still KingFsher. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, now we're going to see the first pick going over to Sugar Babies in this set, and I think a good response banning out the Ho Yi, really synonymous there with Nico, does incredibly well on that pick. And I mean, they both played a good game, so I like the strategy from Harbingers to try to take out comfort picks rather than anything they saw in the last game. I think it is what it is. Both teams played well, so moving forward with a different strategy and a different team comp, I think is going to be pretty instrumental in this game too.
And on the topic of those different team comps, I know what I kind of expect to see change. What do you expect to see change?
Honestly, I mean, on the side of Sugar Babies, I think maybe not necessarily a traditional mid from Soulzc. I think he did pretty good on the set, but more of a little bit of a traditional team comp. It seemed like a lot of players on that team, the Rama, the Set, the Susano, are all gods that are really focused on burning down single targets. It's like we saw in the last game when we saw virtually on the Loki, a person that wants to gank, get the solo kills. That can't be what you want to have if you want to have a full team be coherent and be able to get those 5v5 team fights off pretty well. So I think something that meshes a little bit more together is what I would like to see there from Sugar Babies.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think a big thing for me would be if you want to go a unique mid pick, if you're playing to a certain strategy, maybe consider at least going a Hunter mid, maybe an Ishtar, a Cernanos, something like that. Give yourself some spacing, maybe even a character with some mobility, because with the kind of jungle that Akamaru plays, you got to be able to get away from it.
Yeah, and it is really hard to get away from Akamaru. Does super well. Now, Guan Yu, I like seeing that in the first pick. I think we've talked a ton in the past weeks about it being a top pick, top ban god. But I think when we look over to Harbingers, there is one thing I want to see change. I'd like to see ZTan get away from the Chiron. I think did really well on him, pumped out a ton of damage. But when it came to those late Phoenix Siege, onto the X ball, your favorite. But yeah,
Of course
I
it
think
is.
the late Phoenix Sieges went kind of slow, and we saw the Rama with more structure damage. I think, admittedly, the only place that Harbinger struggled. I think X-Ball might help a little bit with that.
Yeah, and we do see the Daji come back out, no doubt going to Akamaru, who has been dangerous all season on Daji. Nearly every game that Akamaru gets this Daji is just insane to watch. We know for a fact that the Hades ban is necessary. Gear Chief just went off, but letting that Daji through, it's tough. It's a tough sell for me.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I do like the Hades ban. I think Gear Chief was able to do extremely well on that pick, but they are countering the Daji, I think, decently well. They already have 2 CC immune ultimates. I'd assume they pick another, and there it is with the Charybdis. So if they're not going to ban it out, I think they're doing the right thing and preparing for it. This is a little odd. This is going to mean, I would assume, that it's going to be a Cthulhu support, and I do not love that.
Yeah, it's always a an odd feeling support. The only thing I can think of is maybe they felt last time like they just weren't getting enough value out of the support role from playing so passive. Maybe they just want something more aggressive this time. It's hard to tell.
I was gonna say, and it's definitely still possible that we see a Guan Yu jungle. I wouldn't put it past Souls to play it in mid. I think it's still pretty versatile. So I don't really know what I would do with that, because I think, like you said, don't love the Cthulhu support, but at the same time, they have two really, really strong picks for the front line. With the Charybdis, they've grabbed a backliner that can survive by itself, so it wouldn't be the end of the world if it does end up being a Cthulhu support.
I mean, you mentioned it could be Guan Yu jungle. It could always be Guan Yu support, but I feel like when you bring Guan Yu to support, you're losing so much value out of how strong of a solo he is. I almost feel like if that's your game plan, then maybe there was a better support you could have picked from the get-go.
Yeah, definitely could have been, but I think can't speculate too much into what they're thinking, and they are doing the right thing. I think this team looks a lot more formidable when they're grouped up. I think I mentioned last time about being a little more solo-oriented picks. And speaking of team-oriented, it's going to be the Terra again for Flippin' Ninjas. I really like that. I thought they did really, really well in the Terra, and bringing that back is a good start to their team.
The Raven kind of just threw me for a loop. It's not a bad character. It's not something we haven't seen. I just didn't expect to see it. But I kind of like it, especially against the Daji. I feel like it gives you the ability to be very safe. You get not one, but two ways out of the powwow, even without purification beads. So that might give some freedom to MentalDepressed.
Yeah, and it definitely should be. There is a lot of CC, and it's CC that's pretty easily landed, I think, except for the Powwow. Achilles Stun, insanely easy to hit. Terra Standing Stones, a little bit harder, but we saw Flippin' Ninjas not miss, I think, a single one through that entire last game. So having that CC immunity and a pick that's a lot more aggressive, up in your face, is definitely a good one. I think did good on the Susano, but given the team, this should be better. And an Honor lock-in, I now have officially zero idea what's going on. I'd expect Honor mid, though.
Yeah. It's hard to imagine on her going anywhere else. On her brings a great ultimate to this team comp because we were talking about the need for the CC immunity. And it does bring what I was talking about. It brings the range and some mobility, some safety. But with it being Gabba, Poseidon banned, Yu Huang not banned, I expect to see Yu Huang here, which I don't love that matchup for on her.
Yeah, definitely not. And I think the one thing on her is going to synergize really well into this team, especially across from that Guan Yu. There is going to be a ton of protection shred there for the Sugar Babies. It should allow them to get that Terra down a lot quicker than normal. And the Achilles as well, if Gear Chief plays that same style, diving into the backline, but without that big ultimate like Hades to keep sustaining, draw people in, he's going to get shredded insanely fast from the double ADC. And there is a Yu Huang lock-in you talked about.
There it is, and the teams are set. We've got game number 2 from these two Challenger Division juggernauts coming right up on the Smite Draft League. We'll be right back. If game number 1 was anything to go off of, hold on tight for game number 2. It could go one way hard, could go another way crazy. Regardless, it's Juggernauts, it's Anthony Malum, it's KingFsher. Let's do it.
Yeah, and I think the one thing we have to talk about right off the bat is Dracul playing the Guan Yu in support. I know we touched on it a little bit during the desk. I don't think Guan Yu support is a bad thing. I think Cthulhu solo is a very good thing, but losing out on the value you get from Guan Yu in the solo lane, and especially because I think Dracul is a lot more passive support, good double stun, it's a lot of utility that's just not going to be as potent.
Yeah, I agree completely. I mean, I said it, but I'll reiterate it. I feel like when you pick Guan Yu, he almost needs to go to solo. He's just so effective there. Gear Chief hanging out low, trying to bait Smexeh in, but Akamaru is very obviously hanging out on the side. So Smexeh is not buying the bait. MentalDepressed, though, is sneaking around the corner. And Gear Chief's falling low, blinking for MentalDepressed. Call to first blood for Sugar Baby. Smexeh gets the kill onto Gear Chief.
Yeah, great kill there from the Sugar Babies. Would have liked to see it go onto the Robin instead of the Cthulhu, but nevertheless, it's a first blood bounty. It's going to be pretty huge. And Achilles, somebody that is so aggressive in the early game. Any opportunity you get to put them behind is definitely a good one. Is building into what I would guess is a Runic Shield. I love Anstyle a lot, but Runic Shield has kind of been the trend for solo laners.
Yeah, and I feel like Runic Shield is starting to become overvalued almost, because like you said, Ansile is pretty equal, if not a better option for the soul laners to pick up. It's always tough, though. Soul lane builds have never been my specialty. What is my specialty is talking about dual lane brawls, and we're seeing one. Flippin' Ninjas is committing deep. Dracul does get stunned out, but with the escape from NykoMaster, it's hard to commit too far.
Yeah, definitely is. And NykoMaster, luckily, I think being on a safer ADC than last time, it's going to help them come late game. I thought did very good by themselves, but wasn't able to get a ton of space to do all the damage they wanted on Rama. Still did a really good amount, but given how good Nico is, I definitely expect a much bigger impact in the late game this time. Again, not taking it away from game 1, but game 2 should be able to really go off.
Yeah, I agree completely. Here comes some damage in dual lane. Dracul falling low, has to back out, but that means NykoMaster is alone. Does have Whirlpool to get away. Monolith comes out. Standing Stones, combination. Dracul's low. ZTan gets the kill. Mana's gone, though, and health bars are low, but Nico just cannot quite find the damage to get any return kills in the dual lane. It's a big kill for ZTan on the X-Ball.
Yeah, it is, and good thing it does go over to the ADC. Now, ZTan should be getting a little bit more aggression. Charybdis has such good wave clear, but I think X-Ball, a lot more boxing potential, so it'll be interesting to see how that works as Soulzc forces Gabba into the air. And this is going to be another lane to watch on this on her. Should impale away? Ooh, but no, gets a knockout.
Some big damage coming out. Will be there for the kill. Yes, it will. Gabba's got a kill onto Soulzc. Gabba remembers game 1, and Gabba wanted revenge, and Gabba got her revenge.
Yeah, that was a really lame intro for me into that kill. But again, good job. We saw it early, like you said. On the flip side, Gabba dying early. And now, I know you talked a little bit about not liking Anher's matchup into the Yu Huang. Certainly isn't going to help, as Yu Huang does find a level lead. And having that ultimate when Anher doesn't have the CC immunity is going to be absolutely huge. For the boxing potential, I still think he's about one away. Is MentalDepressed. Can he find the kill? No, he cannot.
Safety at the tower is too much for even a Robin. No kill for MentalDepressed on the rotation. Tough break. It felt like he might have had more time to go on Flippin' Ninjas than he realized as he was looking towards the duo lane. Tough break there for Sugar Babies.
Yeah, definitely a little bit. And on the flip side now, Smexeh equal level with the Achilles. I think I would still expect Achilles to kind of win this lane, even after getting off to that slow start. The Breastplate of Valor now built really early for Smexeh, got a lot of farm, I'm assuming, off of that kill and subsequent invades. That is a hard word to say. Definitely should give him priority until the Achilles is able to back, which should be after this wave. He does have tower TP up again.
For what it's worth, your way with words is wonderful to me. Akamaru looking for what could be a return gank onto the duo lane, but it was sniffed out. Dracul and Nico are going to back up and play it safe for now. Gear Chief getting pressure deep under the tower, having a hard time with this Cthulhu so far. Soul's low, Akamaru peeking around, action across the map. Blink dash in. He's brought back. He's dead. Gabba's got her second kill on Yu Huang. Ooh, could we have a solo too? Gear Chief falling low. Smexeh looking forward. Doesn't quite find the abilities. Tough break for Smexeh, but overall great playing by Harbingers across the map.
Yeah, really good play by them as Harbinger is able to take him down mid, and I do like seeing the discipline out of Soulzc. A lot of people, I think in that scenario, beads, they get the CC immune ult. It doesn't matter if he didn't get pushed from that dragon. I mean, the dodgy was going to get him. It was just a matter of time, so saving that utility for next time around, definitely the right play. On the flip side, we do see a runic shield from the Achilles, so this is kind of the stage I'd expect to see that solo lane start turning over to Harbinger's side.
Yeah. I definitely agree. Achilles will be able to hang on and really box out with this Cthulhu, and with that execute, you can only play it so risky as Cthulhu because you're going to be in execute range quicker than you might expect. Good response from MentalDepressed, getting away from Akamaru there. Small mechanic diff to get safe for now, but he wants to defend his speed. Can they find it? Picked up by Flippin' Ninja, so they do not. Descent into Madness comes out. But Harbingers is just trying to get away. They might be successful. 4 members here, though, trying to interrupt it. Flippin' Ninja's caught out. Powwow goes up. Does get 3 people in. 4-man stun by Flippin' Ninjas. Might just be enough to get Harbingers out of this mess. Gabba's here now with the damage, and it works!
Yeah, and that is a great ult from AK on the dodge. He did exactly what he needed to there to ensure his team is safe. On the flip side from Sugar Babies, I like the call to engage there. I think they had a good chance to win that fight, but they committed all their ults in that fight, I think, a little bit too early. Harbingers got too far back in the jungle to pursue. Now Gear Chief with the health advantage. Can he find an execute? Yes, he can.
You know what's coming next? Solo kill for Gear Chief on the Smexeh. Tough break for Cthulhu. We talked about it. Got to watch out for that execute. Cannot play that aggressive. Topic of aggression, though. I love when ADCs beat each other up in the dual lane. It is one of my favorite things, and these two are no strangers to it. They love brawling.
Yeah, and especially, I think, just the nature of those kits, each one of them can poke the other out really easily while still clearing the wave. So I know we talked about seeing the Charybdis and how good she would be into all the ults on the other side, and the pressure also plays really well into X-Ball, as X-Ball should fall. I think Dracul might ult for this. Doesn't have it, though.
MentalDepressed doesn't have Blink. He used it before. ZTan's away, and the reinforcements are here. Monolith comes out. Akamaru's full committing onto MentalDepressed. Terra ultimate backs it up. Akamaru kills MentalDepressed. Betty wishes he had that Blink about now. Dracul falling down to half. ZTan is here. Ooh, Ma comes out, but not enough. The bleed was too much to handle. Nico gets pulled in by the powwow. It's a triple kill for Akamaru in the duo lane.
And as clean of a gank that was from Harbingers, they did really good, got all 3 of the kills, and timed their utility really, really well. I think normally we see a lot of overlap between ults and abilities that aren't necessary. Sugar Babies, it feels like only the Robin should have died there. I mean, Dracul got off the horse immediately. Desert Fury a tad too early, like the try from Soulzc. But yeah, Dracul hopped off the horse really early, was on it for maybe half a second, and Nico just a tiny bit late on the beads. Maybe would have been able to live through that.
Yeah, that was well played by Harbingers, and I like them letting go of the Gold Fury too during that Desert Fury just to buy some time.
Yeah, definitely a smart move. No reason to risk it, especially with the man advantage. Smexeh has to be careful. Gear Chief has ult, but Gear Chief might die.
Gear Chief dropping low quick. Descent into Madness is chasing him down. MentalDepressed is leading the charge. There's the root. It's enough for the kill. Akamaru here, though, to clean things up. Gonna find Smexeh. Might be able to find more if Flippin' Ninjas can catch up to MentalDepressed. But he's got to take the long way around. Oh, there's the standing stones. They're a little bit off. Monolith is not off. Buy some time. Akamaru's here. Here comes the damage. Soulzc is around the corner. Gotta find it quick. Can't quite find it. Now Akamaru dropping the half health. Has to get out of there quick and fall back to the safety of the tower and the trebuchet. Flippin' Ninjas, though, gonna make it happen with the standing stones.
Yeah, I was really questioning. I thought Dracul was going to get up onto the horse really early there, but smart by the Guan Yu, knowing where the on-her was and having enough faith in MentalDepressed, able to get out of that one. I think we missed it a little bit. AK had such a subtle little body block there on the right side, tier 1, keeping Cthulhu in it for one extra shot. Good job from the Dodgy to kind of turn that around after the Achilles' death. almost had one more, but for now, Harbingers up 8 kills to 2, and that is a steep, steep mountain to climb for the Sugar Babies.
Yeah, things are getting out of hand quickly. They've got to reel it back in. Because last game we saw what Harbingers could do with an even game. The last thing you want to do is let Harbingers get 2 ahead, especially being down 0-1 in the set. It's a steep mountain, like you said. It's climbable for now, but they gotta get things back under control quickly.
Yeah, and I like the draft that they have for being in the lead. I mean, Achilles, when he's ahead, absolutely runs games. Same with Dodgy. I think more so than the Sugar Babies draft, if Harbingers are able to keep this lead, it's going to be a lot harder, because on the flip side, even if a few kills go to Sugar Babies, as Cthulhu gets executed immediately. And that's the bad thing about that ult. You present a target that I don't think any Achilles could miss with that execute.
Yeah, you talked about that a few times, and every time it rings true. That Cthulhu is just such a massive target. It's sitting and waiting. You're a duck in the pond, really.
Yeah, and it's that massive target is so fun to cast too. Just seeing a giant purple figure take up half the screen. This Scorpion goes over to Harbingers, Dracul now. And the good thing about that CC Moonal is able to ride the horse out of there. But Pyromancer, I'm not even trying to step up and defend that. If I'm them, maybe a Desert Fury over the wall, but I think anything else is just not necessary.
Yeah, I agree. Committing anything else is too dangerous. Desert Fury over the wall. Harbingers gets the Pyromancer. Desert Fury was no good. Dracul falling low quickly. Doesn't have the ultimate this time. Soulzc kills Akamaru, though. Committed a bit too far to the chase. Big kill for Sugar Babies trying to stay in this game after the Pyromancer. Descent into Madness, looking for Gear Chief. We'll see if that's enough. This is a tough fight to take. They're split as well. Flippin' Ninjas is low in the back, and they have 3 people committing to it. 4 members are in Harbinger's jungle, but there's no kills to be found.
Yeah, I don't like Sugar Babies going for those kills. I think that was unnecessary. Luckily, though, I don't think they're going to be punished, except for Dracul. Stuck around a little bit too long. But if somebody has to die, good thing it's a support. And now Smexeh tries to get out as well. Might not the Achilles.
It's tough to tell.
I take that back. I think he's going to be safe.
Harbingers were considering running that fight back, but I think they realized that they just got enough small victories out of it. They could just walk away. Gear Chief's level 12 and just kind of hanging out, being a bully, trying to get this blue buff. And everybody's around the corner. Stay long enough and things could get rough. And Sugar Babies has realized that and wisely start to back away from this fight.
Yeah, and I think one thing I was going to point out in the last fight that I didn't have the chance to, Smexeh ulted insanely early as that Cthulhu, and I think it could have been a waste on that time. His team wasn't really grouped up. They weren't in position to really run that down. I think given the matchup, that's exactly what he needs to be doing as Cthulhu. We see it all the time. Cthulhus get under half health. They kind of panic a bit, and they hit the ult button, so they're a lot harder to kill. Against the Achilles and an X-Wall, they are going to shred through that health, so using it early is definitely the right play, and I like him adapting on the fly to make that change. Now, Harbingers want to get aggressive. Got decent opening. I don't think I would dive this tower if I'm them, though. It's a little bit too early to be going for that aggressive of a play.
Yeah, especially with the amount of damage that Harbingers is dealing right now. It's pretty significant. You got to play it safe around it. Taking a look at these charts, Fish, walk us through them because they're significant.
Yeah, and I think the one thing you want to look at more so than how big the difference is, it's a really, really steady climb. In both charts, it hasn't been even since about 6 minutes in, and Sugar Babies have never had the lead. It's really steadily growing. That's the ones to be scared about. It's going to get worse before it gets better, and it might get worse for Soulzc under aggression in his jungle.
Everybody's here, so there's just nowhere to go. Dracul's here, but it might be too little too late. Powwow comes out. Soulzc dies to Akamaru. Dracul taking a lot of damage from Gabba. Akamaru's got a double kill. Make it 6-1. Dual lane solo for ZTan over NykoMaster. Retirement's calling, but it can wait. ZTan's got kills to collect.
And it does get a little bit worse. Still can definitely get better for Sugar Babies, though. It's 15 minutes in. 6,000 gold is a lot, but I think the one saving grace they have right now is it's only 15 minutes in. It doesn't matter how ahead they are in gold or levels. When your entire team is only level 13, even if you do get a super early Fire Giant, there's not a ton you can do against those towers with the proper defense. Looking at the defense from Sugar Babies, I think it's great. The Guan Yu Cavalry Charge, the Crypt Assault, the Cthulhu Descent into Madness, it is going to be a really, really hard task getting these towers down if Sugar Babies can group as 5 and group efficiently.
I agree. Something I'm curious to see too is what the Souls can start to do on this on her, because having a rough time so far, needs to pick things up, because Sugar Babies they have a lot of damage, but they need the damage to get online. And so far, it hasn't been there. You can see it in the charts. They're falling so behind this X-Ball and this Daji in terms of damage. They just are going to lack it for these team fights going forward that are bound to happen, because Harbingers, as we know, their shot calling is quick and aggressive.
Yeah, and it is. And I think that's exactly the playstyle they need, in particular going against a double ADC comp. They've done a pretty good job making sure they limit the kills coming from the Onher and the Charybdis, stacking up their deaths and starving the farm. It's exactly what you need to do to ensure they don't run the game. But I think the longer this goes, Harbingers do need to be more aggressive. Even if Sugar Babies are behind, if those ADCs get to level 20, they are going to start eating through the health bars. And especially the health bars of Achilles, I'm not gonna lie, I love the way Gear Chief's been playing. I love the Achilles pick. I don't love the build. Runic Shield decreases the power on one person who's not bringing power, and I think the Oni Garb not really necessary given the team comp from Sugar Babies.
Yeah, I think you made a good call there. Akamaru finds MentalDepressed in the jungle. MentalDepressed has to use that ultimate to get away. That's tough for the possible ensuing fight that may follow, because you want that Raven ultimate to do some damage. Dracul taking a bit too from ZTan, who's pumping out numbers, as you can see, just crossed over 10k. And Harbingers might look to pull fire here and bring some attention. This could be dangerous for Sugar Babies. They don't have the levels or the health bars to compete. NykoMaster, Shades of Game 1, split pushing, currently at a tier 2. Fire Giant dropping fast, below half health. No contest yet from Sugar Babies. Can they get there in time? Gabba gets a double, just blew them up at fire. Soul's taking a lot of damage too, has to get out of there quick. Descent into Madness comes out, has 4 on him though, can't survive that. ZTan kills Soul's, Gear kills Smexeh. Nyko got the tier 2, no Phoenix this time. Tough to be a Sugar Baby fan right now.
Yeah, it really was, and I'm not totally sure that I like them trying to go for the Fire Giant. It was a gutsy play, and I'm glad they still have confidence in their team fight, in their team, but here's the downside. I mean, losing those players, it doesn't matter if they have Fire Giant or not on this push, they have a minion wave, but losing all those deaths, it's going to be really hard, but they're up in time to defend the Phoenix. They don't have enough ultimates, I think. The Guan Yu and the Cthulhu in particular are so good at pushing people out of base, getting them into the positions they don't want to be. So losing those is going to be really impactful on this next Phoenix Siege. And I'd expect it's coming through. Harbingers are on a roll right now. They're almost 10,000 gold up, and I don't think they're going to slow down anytime soon.
The problem for Sugar Babies is they need to defend, and they need to count on Harbingers making a mistake. But we've seen it all season. Ever since ZTan took over as captain, Harbingers doesn't make many mistakes in terms of objective pushing. Even if they make a mistake, it's a 5-man mistake. They're not going to get separated. They're not going to throw away a game for free. You've really got to earn it, and Sugar Babies is in such a bad spot to earn it right now.
Yeah, and I think speaking of earning it, Harbingers really are. I don't think Sugar Babies, I mean, I think last Fire Giant fight aside, I think this set they've been playing really well. But last game, just unable to close it late. In this game, the early lead from Harbingers has translated into such a good late game team fight. And look at the levels. 3 levels down for the support, 2 in solo and jungle. Sugar Babies, they need to get some farm, need to get closer before they can do anything. And credit to Harbingers, they're not letting them. They're stripping the farm really well. They're playing all the objectives. And Oni Fury could be another big one coming up here in about 30 seconds to a minute. If Harbingers get that and push efficiently, the game might be over. But Sugar Babies can't really afford to defend it, unfortunately.
Yeah, Sugar Babies finds themselves in kind of a position where they just have to sit and watch Harbingers run around the map, and they got to wait and see if they can win the next team fight, and really that's what's going to decide it. I don't think anything's going to break through Harbingers right now. They're too focused. I mean, they're coming down this map like an army marching through the jungle.
Yeah, and I think the biggest mistake that Sugar Babies could make is defending this Oni Fury. I'm glad to see them walking
Yeah.
off of it. Because I think, like you said, it's the position in Smite that teams get in all the time. And it sucks to be there. You can't do anything. If you step up too far, you're going to get killed. You got to count on one lucky fight. But I think definitely doing the smart thing. They know they're backing after that Onis, and they know they're going to have about a minute until the Oni waves get here and Harbingers follow behind. So doing the smart thing, getting a little bit of farm and grouping up on these Phoenixes. They have all their ults, they have all their relics. It's definitely still possible for Sugar Babies to turn it around. I'm not gonna lie though, I think it's kind of unlikely.
Yeah, this is a tall task, just say the least. Harbinger's probably just going to group up and run it up with this Trebuchet. Sugar Baby is going to have a difficult time defending. Might be worth falling back to the Phoenix and defending inside of it. I don't think they want to fight in the lane right now. It's what they do. Trying to push out the other lane just to be safe, but Harbingers is committing. They're going to run in with this Trebuchet and see what they can make happen.
I was gonna say, I'd almost expect Harbingers to just stack up there. I mean, Sugar Babies need to kill that Trebuchet or their Phoenix is gonna die. They know that they have to step out of the Phoenix. They don't have to go into it. They're waiting for Sugar Babies to get aggressive, and I think that's the right call. As soon as that Cthulhu goes into the ult, Harbingers are gonna push the gas pedal.
Yeah, it's really just a matter of time at this point. And time is the only thing that Sugar Babies does not have on their side at the moment. Harbingers is just waiting to see who steps up. And if anybody does, they're going to get CC'd and they might die. The damage from Harbingers is going to be crazy. Here comes the aggression from Sugar Babies, though, to kill the Trebuchet. Trebuchet's gone, but Dracul took a lot of damage. Harbingers had their opening, didn't take it quite right away. Splitting up now to split the pressure. Achilles goes left, everybody else is going right. MentalDepressed is alone. Soulzc comes over, so they're splitting their defense, but the Harbingers aren't going right to the Phoenix, so it does work out for Sugar Babies.
Yeah, I think Sugar Babies got lucky there. I don't know why Harbingers didn't try to group up and push. They had a really, really big wave in right. I love what they did initially, forcing them to wait at the mid-Phoenix, making it so they can't go out and clear the other lanes. Pushing back towards Fire Giant, though, I mean, it's going to help them end the game. I feel like it's unnecessary, but if they get this, they should be able to run it down. I think this is the point where Sugar Babies, I don't think you can commit a lot to this Fire Giant, but you have to send at least one person to try and steal it. I don't think they're gonna, though. I think Harbingers will run this one down. I would assume in the right lane there. Minions are furthest push up.
With the level advantage, the item advantage, the damage advantage, the Fire Giant advantage, everything is advantage Harbingers, and everything is disadvantage Sugar Babies. This is going to be a tough defense.
Yeah, and I think luckily from Sugar Babies, they did that Phoenix defense really well. I think pretty good situational awareness, didn't burn ults, didn't burn relics trying to get that Trebuchet down. The Phoenix is now back up to full HP, so they have what they need to do this defense. Harbingers just might have too much going for them. Is now that gold lead skyrockets to 13,000.
Yeah, it's
They've been
rough
playing
one.
the map, yeah, insanely well. I mean, that's a full item advantage, at least, for every role.
Yeah, I think you said it best. This is tough. There's no other way to put it. And it's not like Sugar Babies can't do it. They have the skill for it, but it's just Harbingers is just clicking on every cylinder.
They definitely are. And I think I like this late game Sugar Babies team. We've seen a lot more. I think early game, they got off to a pretty big kill deficit early. I think it was 8-2, like 6 or 7 minutes. That kind of got them behind from the start. But given that, I think they've turned it around a lot. These late team fights have looked a lot more balanced. I think Harbingers now, they're still spread out across the map. They have Fire Giant for another 2.5 minutes. And I think they're going to push before it expires. It's a right move for them. Now, Sugar Babies, they need to get all 5 together. Robin's clearing out those mid minions, but they're marching down on left. Robin needs to get over there right now.
And it looks like he is. We'll get there in time, but it's going to be a tough fight. Harbingers has focus in their eyes, and it's going to be a tough defense for Sugar Babies. Who's going to make the first move? It's Flippin' Ninjas. Monolith comes out. Standing Stones get the stun. Dracul goes on the horse to dive in, but it's taking chunks. Flippin' Ninjas is low. Maw comes out. Doesn't do much. Descent into Madness isn't doing much either. Everybody's still full health on Harbingers, and Dracul and Smexeh are low enough they might need to back. Dracul gets stunned out. Akamaru goes to MentalDepressed, finds good damage, but gets stunned out. Powwow comes up. Soul's low. Nico low. Dracul low. Everyone's low except for Harbingers. Powwow doesn't find much. MentalDepressed goes in with the ultimate. Gonna pay for it, gonna fall. Question is, who gets the kill? It's ZTan. Gear Chief finds MentalDepressed, and it's not looking good for Sugar Babies. 3-on-5. Titan Siege begins. Harbingers has more than enough damage for this. Soulzc gets deleted by Akamaru. Titan at half health. Harbingers has been undefeated up to this point, but so has Sugar Babies. Harbingers came into this game behind the leadership of ZTan, looking to take control of the narrative, and they're gonna do it. Look for playoffs, because Harbingers is here to play. They take down Sugar Babies.
Yeah, that is a really, really solid game there from Harbingers. They're able to close out the win, and a lot more cleanly in game 2. And like I think you said, playoff implications, in order for them to lose the first seed, they're going to have to lose the next 2 weeks, and Sugar Baby is going to have to win both of them, so they put themselves in a great position going into playoffs. But looking at that last fight, I think Sugar Babies did such a good job on the initial engage, had a really good utility dump, and push them back out, but they did 200 damage. The level difference was so impactful there from Harbingers.
And credit where credit's due to the defense. There really wasn't a lot Sugar Babies could do on that defense. They needed mistakes from Harbingers that were not made, but they did everything they could. So it wasn't like there was no effort. Things were just going too good for Harbingers, and Harbingers takes the victory of this set behind insane player damage, great cohesion, just everything looked great.
Yeah, it really did, and I think there was such a big difference between Game 1 and Game 2. I mean, we saw them battle it back from a really even map state and try to find that late game aggression and finally got their edge. And I mean, when they just snowballed, they looked insanely strong. We've yet to see this team behind all season, and I don't think we're going to see it starting now.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing we've seen is the Challenger division came here this season to play. Every player from every team has just given it their all, and you've seen that. So why not vote on it? So with that, I want to bring your attention to the Challenger All-Star voting, which we now have taking place. You can use a command in Twitch chat. You can get in the Discord to get some voting out as well, and decide who you want to see in that All-Star game. Will it be Akamaru, who's shown up all year on Daji? Will it be NykoMaster, who up until this point has had some insane games in ADC? It could be almost anybody, but with that, we're going to leave you here and say good night on Sunday night. This has been the Smite Draft League. You want to play? Get in the Discord. You want to vote? Get in the Discord. You want to see more? Follow the Twitch. I have been Anthony Malum. He was KingFsher. We had NykoMaster on production. We'll see you next time.